In the last lecture, we learned how to install Cordova library and how to create our first PhoneGap project. The platform that we are using for the sake of this lecture is Android. So you remember that we followed these steps. We created a folder that will contain our Android project. Then we entered that folder, we added Android, and then build the project and then run the project. Of course, you can add other platforms other than Android, but you should install the SDK of these platforms. If you want to add iOS or Windows, for example, you should have the corresponding SDKs installed in your computer. So remember our project PhoneGap demo. If we at any point, if I want to see what are the platforms installed, I can execute Cordova platform ls. This will list all the installed platforms on this project. It says here that the installed platforms, Android, and the available platforms are Amazon, Firefox, BlackBerry, browser Firefox, iOS. So we will stick with Android for now. Now we will start using the capabilities provided by Cordova Library. We will try to build a very simple application that accesses the camera. So basically, the application will have very simple index page that has a hyperlink camera example. When you click on this link, we will see a button here. Capture photo will call the camera. Of course, I'm using emulator here. It's better to use a device because the whole point of Cordova is to use device native features. Genymotion supports some of the plugins, but fail to support some. Camera, fortunately, is working on Genymotion, so we are using the camera here. Okay, so once I took the picture is displayed in a small image here. Note that this is web-based application, which means that I'm actually accessing the camera through HTML and JavaScript. So to learn how to do this, we'll go back to the PhoneGap website. So to learn about plugins, you can click Plugin APIs. You will see different APIs or different plugin APIs supported by Cordova. So for our example, we will use camera. Click on camera here. You will see long explanation about the functions provided by the camera plugin, how to call them, description of the function and the parameters, and some example code here. So the first step to add the plugin to your project is to execute this command in your shell. So I'll copy this Cordova plugin add. By default, your application does not contain any plugin API. So you as developer need to add the plugins that you need for your application. We know that we will need the camera, so we add the camera plugin here. So what's happening here is that the implementation of the camera library is being copied into our project. So let's build our application again. All right, let's go back to the Eclipse and see what has changed. So if we refresh the project, we will see that the implementation of the camera is added to our project. These files are copied from the GIT hub server, and all this is being managed by the CLI that we have installed. So all what you have to do is just to go to the web page of the plugin and execute the proper add command. You don't have to worry about anything else. The corresponding source code will be copied into your project. So this is not the only change that will happen to your project. If you also open Android manifest, that we know that for Android projects, Android manifest contains many information regarding meta information about the application, what activities are used, and also the permissions. By default, any PhoneGap application will have internet permission. And because we added the camera, using the camera will need write external storage. So note that we didn't write anything in the manifest. The Cordova library reflects any changes to the application once we build the application. Another plugin that we will need in this application is to display alert dialogues. To install this plugin, we need to install the dialogues or the notification plugin. So we need to copy this. So again, the point of this plugin is to be able to display alerts. So paste. Okay. We can, to make sure that we have installed two plugins successfully, you can write Cordova plugin ls. We can see here that we have installed the camera and the notification. To reflect the changes into the client project, we need to build the application. So Cordova build. All right. So PhoneGap demo refresh. We will see that the dialogues is added here. Okay, so our project is ready. We have the needed plugins. We can start building our web pages that will contain the logic of calling a camera plugin. So as I said, Cordova provide very helpful documentation with proper explanation of all the functions, the parameters, and how to call them. In previous versions documentation, it also used to provide a whole code example, like a whole project. So, okay, so let's take a look at the camera here. The first function is called getPicture. So it takes a photo using the camera or retrieves a photo from device image gallery. the image is passed to the success callback as a base64 encoded string or as URI of the image file. So if it was taken by the camera, it will be base64 encoded, and if it was retrieved from the image gallery, it will be a URI image file. The method itself returns a camera popover handle object that can be used to reposition the file selection. So let's take a look at the prototype of the function. So to call the function, we need to write navigator.camera.getPicture, and it takes 3 parameters: camera success, camera error, and camera options. For the camera success, this is the name of the callback function in case the getPicture was executed successfully. So if getPicture was able to launch the camera and take the picture and get the image successfully, this function will be executed. If for some reason this function failed to launch the camera due to problem in the device, problem in the emulator, or problem in the configurations, an error will happen and this function will execute. The third parameter is simply comma-separated value of camera options, like the duration, the quality, the resolution. Every function has its own options, and usually this is the general way of calling any plugin function. There is a success callback, an error callback, and options. Okay, so this is prolonged explanation and quirks for different platforms and example code here. I prepared the code for the example that I just showed. So for the index, it's pretty simple. We only have one list item called camera example that it's hyperlink that navigates to another HTML file called camera.html. It's very important to note something here. The index page, and actually every page in your project, should include Cordova.js, because this file will contain all the corresponding declarations of the Cordova functions. If you don't have this line, the project will not execute. So it's very important to have Cordova.js included in your files. So this is the index. Nothing special. Very simple file. So I'll copy this code and paste it into the index file here. And save. Note that this example opened another HTML file called camera.html, which means that we need to create another file, camera.html, to put the code of the camera example. So we will come here and add new file, call it camera.html, finish. Okay, so for the camera.html, we have a very simple file too. It's HTML with inline JavaScript in the same file. Note that we also have included the Cordova.js in this file. Let's jump to the body and see what we have here. We have two objects, button and image object. On click, the button will execute function called capture photo. Capture photo will call the navigator.camera.getPicture. the function that we just read in the manual. It will have on photo data success, which is the name of the function that will execute if the picture was executed successfully. On fail will be called if something wrong happened while executing a picture, and a set of comma-separated value that represents possible options that developer may want to customize. Here, like for example, quality and destination type. Destination type is very important because it tells the plugin what is the source of the image. If you choose destination type data URL, this means that you want to execute the camera. This will be your source of the image. If it was URI, this means that you want the source to be from the photo gallery or the photo library. So for this example, we want to use the camera, so that's why we need to specify data URL as a destination type. Okay, so back to the on success or on photo data success. This function will hold the image that is taken as a string format. So the body of the function is very simple. It points to the image object that we have here. Remember the image object with ID small image. So this variable points to that object and change the display style to block. So the default display style is none, which means that it's invisible by default. But once the function was successful, we change the display to block, which means to be visible. And we assign the source attribute of the image object to hold the image data that was captured by the get picture. In case something wrong happened, we have the onFail function. So onFail, we are just displaying an alert of what is the error or what is the exception, what's to explain what has gone wrong, has been going wrong. So alert is one of the features that we can use from the notifications. We can also use vibrate or ring, but for this example we only need to use alert. Okay, so this is the function, and this is the whole file. Very simple. We'll copy this and paste it into the camera. Save. All right. So any changes made to the resources, we should execute the build command to update Cordova implementation. So Cordova build. Okay, so we need to refresh the project here. After every single build, the projects need to be refreshed. Okay, so it's ready to be tested. Camera example, capture photo. Okay, this launches the simulation of a camera. Take photo, and it's displayed here. Of course, if you are using your own device, you can take pictures through your camera and display it here. So that's it for this video. As you saw, any step or any information you need, you can find in the documentation of PhoneGap. You can also find example, like whole code example, maybe not in the recent help, but if you choose here one of like the old versions of Cordova, for example 2.8, if we clicked on camera, we will see, of course, don't look at how, like the permissions and how to add plugin, because all this is different. Just go scroll down to the code examples. You will find very useful code examples provided here. And you will also see a full example, like a full HTML file with full inline JavaScript that tests or demonstrates different functions in the camera plugin. So that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful to help you understand how to use PhoneGap. Thank you.